Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Danielle, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s.
This week, we are talking about the 1997 animated classic Anastasia, and we have our good friend and Instagram pal, Samantha from Lovefool.99 with us. Welcome, Samantha.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for having me back.
We're so happy that you're here.
Thank you. Feel honored.
But before we dive in, let's get into some
housekeeping.
If you love our podcast and you want to help support us, here's just a few ways that you can.
Did you know writing a review and or rating us helps us get more listeners? If you want to be featured and help us grow, head to Apple, Spotify, Podchasers, Good Pods, or your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review.
And don't forget to hit that little button that says subscribe so that you can get alerted with our new episodes when they're live.
And if you want exclusive content, stickers, lives, and access to our Burned Aughts Spotify playlists, head on over to patreon.com/no more late fees and become a Patreon bestie.
So just a little information about the movie before we introduce our wonderful guest. The daughter of the last Russian Czar, Nicolas II, Anastasia is found by two Russian con men, Dimitri and Vladimir, who seek the reward that her grandmother, the Dowager Empress Marie, Feodorovna? Oh shit, I'm not sure. Promised to the ones who'll find her. But the evil mystic of the Tsar family, Rasputin, still wants the Romanov family to be destroyed forever. Anastasia. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of me messing up these names. I don't speak Russian. All of our Russian fans, I'm sorry.
We charted on Russia's charts recently too.
Yay! The movie stars Meg Ryan, John Cusack, Kelsey Grammer, Christopher Lloyd, Hank Azaria, Bernadette Peters, Kirsten Dunst, and the late R.I.P. Angela Lansbury.
Dame Angela Lansbury.
Correct. The movie was directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. The screenplay is by Susan Gauthier, Bruce Graham, Bob Zuiker, and Noni White. You can watch the movie on Starz and Amazon. Amazon, you have to rent it. It's like $3.99. Now, the funny story about this is obviously this movie was acquired by Disney in their acquisition of Fox, and it was on Disney Plus till March of this year, and then they moved it to Starz. So not sure if it was because they're still trying to figure out a strategy of what to do with all of these Fox acquired properties and not trying to confuse the brand. I know, and that's in America. In other countries, I believe it's still on Disney Plus, but here in the States, they did move it. Because I went to Disney Plus and I was like, where the hell is this movie at? I thought she was a Disney princess. But I guess Disney said no. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal our Y2K versions of ourselves we give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again.
The best, would play on repeat.
5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
Okay, but nothing to write home about.
And same-day rental.
Absolutely Rasputin trash.
Absolute Rasputin trash.
Making up new words here.
Samantha, so what is your Y2K rating of Anastasia?
This is definitely must buy, own it, watch it on repeat. It's great. I love this movie.
Danielle?
So I don't own it. I never owned this one. And I think I was a Disney elitist. I was as a child. Like, I did not get into the Swan Princess Thumbelina because I was like, that ain't Disney. So it was a 5-day rental. I watched it. I liked it, but it wasn't on constant repeat, and I didn't own it because I knew it wasn't real.
Well,
How to
I owned it, owned the soundtrack, sang along with every song,
Heck yeah.
signed one of the songs at a performance at an old folks home.
She sure did.
Can you guess which song?
Journey to the Past.
It's the least likely song in the whole movie.
There's a rumor in St. Petersburg.
Nope. It's
I
the
don't
one.
know.
Now I can't even remember the name of it. It's the one where they're teaching her the history of the Romanovs.
Oh.
I don't know why we chose that one.
That's how I also know that this wasn't like a bop for me. When I was watching this movie, rewatching, I was like, these songs sound brand new to me.
How did you not know the songs?
Didn't know a lick of word.
You
know what?
Those two?
Huh?
You really didn't? Not the Journey to the Past? That's not like in your head or anything?
I know the melody, but I don't know any of the words. Like, I was like, this sounds familiar, but but I'm going to tell you why. Let me get into the box office numbers and give you a little history. And as a Disney elitist, how I, Danielle, was bamboozled, brainwashed, and propaganded. That's not a word, but I'm going to make it a word. So the movie had a budget of $53 million. It made $140 million when it came out in 1997. This was 20th Century Fox's first and only 2D animated film. It began using computer animation shortly after. Now, this movie was released November 21st, 1997, and it was notably a week after the re-release of Disney's The Little Mermaid. So as we all know, Disney used to love to play this game where they would put movies in the vault, take them out, like to make the demand high, right? Now, is it a coincidence that when 20th Century Fox was going to release this movie, Disney said, a week prior, we're going to re-release our redheaded Disney princess in the theater? That's one. 2, so they notably a week after they re-released the Little Mermaid, and Disney claimed it had long planned for the re-release to coincide with the consumer products campaign leading into Christmas and the film's home video release in March of 98. March of 98, but you did this November of 97. Come on, Disney. You ain't fooling nobody.
Well, and didn't Little Mermaid come out in 89? Wouldn't it have made more sense to release it on an anniversary year?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So also,
shady lady Disney.
As they said, as well to continue the tradition of re-releasing their animated films within a 7 to 8 year interval. In addition to this, Disney would release several competing family films, including Flubber, the following weekend after Anastasia came out, as well as a double feature of George of the Jungle and Hercules.
Someone had a pre-screening of this movie and they were like, oh shit.
They were scared.
Yeah. As they should be. All songs a bop. All characters are top notch. Like, they should have been worried.
Also, to avoid branding confusion, Disney banned television advertisement for Anastasia from being aired on the ABC program The Wonderful World of Disney. And as we all know, that's where we were going as children for the hot new movies on a Saturday night before Disney Channel had started really ramping up their Disney Channel original movies, their DCOMs. So, as a Disney fanatic and freak, I was blindsided about this movie. I didn't know nothing about it.
You had Anastasia.
You didn't eat at Burger King in 97?
Yeah.
I don't
with all
fucking
the
like
toys?
Burger King. I'm very loyal to my brands. It was
But
McDonald's or go home.
I was a Disney fanatic, freak, all of that, whatever. I could be a creepy Disney adult, whatever. But I still love this movie. I still get down with Burger King back in the day. I don't anymore. Those BK kid meals, what were they called? They're so
Yeah.
cool. And their souvenirs were awesome. Like I still have it. I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it, but I had the plushie dog that you got from Burger King. Like I still have it.
Yes, they made a lot of deals with other different brands. Burger King was one of them. They definitely had some toys for Anastasia. So it gets worse. Like this whole Disney element to it, because when I was rewatching this, I definitely said to myself, the animation was immaculate. It was beautiful.
Yep.
Top notch.
It
It really was different from Disney at the time too. Like what
Yeah.
they put the real paintings and everything. It totally.
I would be scared. Like, I think Disney was like, holy crap, what if they start really trying to make more of these animated films? And I'm kind of sad that 20th Century Fox didn't really make more.
And actually there's a coin term. It's called the Don Bluth shimmer. You know how like the
Yes,
crowns
the
look like they
tiara.
were glittering and stuff.
Yeah.
And he did that in most of his movies, all the way back to like Secret of Nim.
Yes.
And so
Oh,
I think they did it by punching holes in like a black mat and then like moving it around. I think it was done. A black mat with holes punched in at the right places. A white sheet of pan paper with black lines is panned underneath and shot with the animation cameras on twos. I don't know what that means. So when the black pattern passes underneath the holes, the twinkle is dark. When the white passes underneath, it's bright. And that's how they got it. It's gorgeous, top notch.
He knew his audience because I love a
did.
shiny fucking thing. Okay. he had my attention, and it, and the thought came, I'm like, okay, he could have been really lazy and made a crown with like visible, just like the jewels kind of place, but I was like, this man made it like, ooh,
and the music box,
glittering?
like everything.
Yes.
Oh, it is. But it was also when you said Secret of the Nim, her necklace. I just always, the ruby, the gold, and all of that. It was just always so, even like the medicine. Do you remember the medicine she fed? The mouse like had like, it
Little
just,
shot.
yeah. Yes, it is really pretty.
And
That's funny.
And it is to be noted in this whole like battle between Disney. Actually, I would just say Disney sabotage. It became the first Don Bluth and Gary Goldman movie and the first non-Disney, non-Pixar animated movie to be nominated for an Academy Award since An American Tail in 1986. In fact, it actually received more Academy Award nominations that year than Disney's Hercules. So Disney was mad as hell about that.
Did you like Hercules? We all saw Hercules too, right?
Yeah. I did, but like I think like after the Disney princess reign, other than like Mulan, I wasn't like, as I started getting older, like I wasn't going hard for Disney at this time. Like we did Monsters Inc. I had never seen it. Toy Story is probably my exception, but like I was all about the Disney princess era of like Snow White, Cinderella, Little Mermaid, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when Hercules came out, it was like that was when that movie came out, and Hunchback, that movie. Like there was a few, for me personally, I kind of was like duds at the time. I was like, eh. Later on, I rewatched them and I was like, oh, they're good. I wasn't interested. You weren't giving me princesses, Disney. That's my bread and butter. I'm sorry.
How did you not like Hercules?
I didn't say I didn't like Hercules at the time.
Like that's like a top Disney favorite. Like I mean, even it came out in 97, so I was 10 years old for both those movies. And I mean, the songs, everything, like, I don't know how you thought that was even a dud.
At that time, I was like, we were in
Disney
high school.
elitist.
I was not like, well, I'll tell you, it was Tarzan, this Hercules, Hunchback.
I don't like Hunchback.
I don't care for it either.
What
I
other
don't even
ones?
think I've ever finished it.
What other ones were coming around that time period? Atlantis, like I wasn't
Treasure
really
Planet.
Treasure Planet. I wasn't really watching them. Like
Emperor's
Yeah.
Emperor's New Groove was a little later.
Emperor's New
Oh my
Groove.
gosh,
Like
it's so good though.
I wasn't watching them. Also, I was in high school. I was
in high school with you.
I wasn't interested in
You
the
had to be
cartoon.
in the car when I was bopping the Hercules soundtrack.
I was.
She blocked it out from her mind.
I know I didn't. I watched her listen to it, and I was just like, okay, yeah.
You don't feel the spirit in you as you listen to Hercules.
No, but you know what I have noticed? Like, I am not a cartoon person. Like, as I've gotten older, like when I started getting older, like I stopped being interested in watching cartoons, and I know now, like that's dumb because clearly cartoons aren't for kids, but I was just like, I want to watch live action. But I just feel like as soon as I said Hercules and Tarzan, y'all looked at me.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
I am judging you on that for sure. Like
those two in particular, because those soundtracks are so top notch.
I do like this. I like the songs. I do. And I rewatched it later in life and I like them. I'm not saying I hate them. I'm just saying for some reason in that time period, Danielle was done with the cartoons. And
I just don't understand how those two didn't have a chokehold on you. At least Hercules alone. Like
no.
Danielle, do you remember when I made the homemade shirt?
Not at all.
I printed out a heart that said "I heart Phil Collins" on a baby and I wore it after listening to the Tarzan soundtrack.
I don't recall, but you know what? In 97, maybe 97, we were friends, but I don't know if we had gotten to a point where we were like hanging out all the time.
Didn't Tarzan come out in 99?
Oh, maybe. I'm thinking of Hercules. Sorry.
Yeah, Tarzan was 99.
I don't know what the excuse is, Jackie. I don't know, but I
breaking my heart.
I just
a little bit
wasn't into it at the time.
Okay.
And you know what? Also, I think a factor is Serena and Christian, when they were little, like I didn't want to watch cartoons because I was constantly having to watch them when they were watching it. And I was like, I need grown-up things. So when they were
so mature.
Well, like, they were watching it on rotation. I was like, I
so sophisticated lady.
But
I get that. I get it.
What changed it for me was when I started watching Avatar. That was amazing. That's a great show. And I bet, like, have you two watched Avatar?
I have.
My husband and my daughter have watched it, so I've seen like little bits here and there.
Obsessed. Love it.
They watch anime and stuff together though too.
So. Well, we've gone down a rabbit hole of we hate Danielle Club because she is not on the animation.
I'm just real confused. I don't know where I went wrong in our friendship. What about casting, Danielle?
So Bluth, which we should just mention that we keep talking about this man, and we should say what if you don't know who he is. During the time of reign of Disney in the 90s, this man was making like all the other non-Disney animations. If they weren't Disney, most likely he probably had a hand in it. So he made the Swan Princess, the Thumbelina, which I feel like Thumbelina's animation is very similar to Anastasia's. A Troll in Central Park.
Dogs Go to Heaven. Land Before Time.
My favorite Rockadoodle.
Oh, wait.
Rockadoodle.
Rockadoodle.
An American Tale.
Oh gosh, yes.
But so, that interestingly enough, he worked for Disney.
Damn. That's why they were.
He worked on Pete's Dragon. He worked on that Disney Pete's Dragon.
Oh, wow.
He did quite a few. He worked on Sleeping Beauty. He was uncredited. Robin Hood. He was a character animator for Robin Hood, Skippy, Sissy, and Tagalong.
Oh, okay.
Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2. He did Rabbit. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. The Rescuers, Pete's Dragon. and he was the animation director for Pete's Dragon. Fox and the Hound seems like the last Disney
Thing
movie
he touched.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder Disney was pissed.
Right?
So it was competition. It was personal.
It was. So yeah, going back. So Bluth, he stated that Meg Ryan was his first and only choice for the voice of Anastasia. However, Meg Ryan was indecisive about accepting the role, mainly due to the dark historical events. And so to persuade her, the animation team took audio clips from her role as Annie Reed in Sleepless in Seattle and created an animation reel based on it, which was screened for her following an invitation to the studio. And that was it. Like, that cemented it. She was like, I'm on board 100%. So once they got Meg Ryan, I think before Meg Ryan was cast, they had cast one of the Broadway stars to do the singing of the role, Liz Calloway. She was the one who did all the musical numbers, and she also has voice credits for Odette in Swan Princess, Jasmine in Aladdin, The Return of Jafar and the King of Thieves, and Kiara in The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. So they got her first. At first I was like, it's super weird why they didn't just let her do all of it, why just have her sing? But I guess because you still need big names to bring people in. But I also think that's weird because it's an animation, and I feel like kids aren't like, I gotta see that new Meg Ryan hit, like they don't care.
And I
I
feel
think
like
that's to pull in adults though, like a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, don't you want to
adults-
see? I don't know.
The
I don't know.
adults have
Maybe
to
give
go
them.
anyways. You got to bring your
That's
kid.
true.
So
That's
I don't understand it.
Well, there was a transition where you did have like the Mulans. I mean, with Pocahontas, you did get Mel Gibson, but you didn't really typically have huge name stars. That transition started happening in the late 90s, where it like now it's big business to do an animated feature for big stars to perform that. Whereas kind of in that resurgence of the golden age of Disney, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Like it was more about the music. Who can we get to do the music?
True. Well, we also got Kirsten Dunst voicing the young Anastasia, and Lacey Chabert, who was the voice. So I was like, okay, Anastasia racking up all these talented ladies to be your multiple voices. I love to see it.
Love it.
Also, Rasputin almost went to your boy, Sir Patrick Stewart.
I love him. Although I can't imagine anyone but Christopher Lloyd doing the voice of Rasputin. It's just so perfect.
Not even Jonathan Pryce, Peter O'Toole, or Tim Curry.
No,
because they were also considered.
No, I'm good.
And then I don't think people realize completely what an icon Hank Azaria is.
Oh.
I mean, I know we associate him with The Simpsons, obviously. I always think of him in The Birdcage. But
see, and I think of him in, is it Along Came Polly, where he's
yes, the big buff guy.
Yeah, and he's in his Speedos, and is it Along? Yeah,
it's Along Came Polly.
Okay, yeah, that, I mean, I know he's done a lot, but when I think of Hank, like, that's just the image that goes in that character.
Him in The Birdcage trying to not like wear real shoes, and he's like, I can't do this.
He's like, I don't like to wear real shoes. They make me fall down. And then he's like, here, take your pair, and don't worry about it. It's aspirin. I just cross off the A and the S. Bartok is my favorite character that Hank Azaria does.
Really?
I love it so much. It was funny. I was watching this, and Ken came home, and he walked in, and like he's like, "What movie is this?" He was having trouble placing it. As soon as Bartok came on the screen, he's like, "And I kick her, sir," and like just walked out of the room. It's like, "Yep, you know exactly who that is now."
That's the best part.
But there were so many, like every single line almost that Bartok delivered in this was so quotable, and we literally quoted them all the way through high school. Danielle wasn't there, I guess.
If I I wouldn't have gotten it. I would have just thought you were saying things. I'd have been like, okay. So what's interesting about that, the role Bartok was written for Woody Allen. Creepy, gross. But the studio was reluctant to hire him. And following the revelations of his relationship with his ex-wife's or partner, Mia Farrow's adoptive daughter, Sun Yi, they were like, okay, we can't go that direction. And at first, Martin Short was considered, but once they met with Hank Azaria, he won the role within 10 minutes of his audition, which not surprised.
Yeah.
And
He's awesome.
he is. And he came up with this voice. He had to work really hard to convince them of the voice that he came up with. He said it was based on one of his family members, but they were like a little hesitant at first about it. But eventually he won them over, because how could you not, right?
I love it.
Okay, I have a question. Did you guys hear? I heard Meg Ryan the whole time. Like, I knew it was her. But with Dimitri, did you guys hear John Cusack?
I'm going to say, yeah. I actually hear him more than, I'm not a super Meg Ryan fan. Don't shoot me. Never seen, what's that one you said, Sleepless in Seattle, like all those, Harry Met Sally. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. When they came out, I was younger. I didn't, and so it was just never one I needed to watch to me.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, sometimes I get stubborn with that when there's a lot of hype, or when people go, oh, I can't believe you haven't seen that movie. Sometimes I don't watch it. You know what I mean? Or it ruins the hype. So I'm a pretty big John Cusack fan. And so I do hear him more in it than, I kind of forget it's Meg Ryan. I'm thinking she's Anastasia, like she's more the princess for me.
I can hear her, and I could not, like, I had to keep on, when I saw that he was one of the voices, I was like, whose voice was he? Because I love John Cusack, but I couldn't hear like his, it was driving me crazy the whole time, because I was like, y'all lying, because that ain't John. But apparently it was. Also, another question for both of you guys. Why is it all these other characters have Russian accents, but Meg Ryan is just walking around with Meg Ryan?
Because if you don't have Meg Ryan, you need their voice, and maybe they can't do good ones. I don't know, but like,
I felt like Dimitri didn't really have an accent.
Yeah, him too.
Neither of them.
So I was like, so y'all not gonna try, because it would make sense if maybe she got taken to America, but this girl was walking around with an American voice, and everybody's like, hello, you know, like, I'm okay, that's more French, but you know what I mean. It would.
Can you do it again?
I love it when Danielle tries to do accents or read things in other languages.
So I was just like, okay, that kept on taking me in and out of the movie, because y'all ain't even trying. So
as a kid, I wasn't thinking about it, but yeah, that stuff always drives me bonkers now when I watch it.
It's one of those things that I think I pay attention to, because there are movies where, any movie that is semi-European, they always have British accents, even though, you know, it's like a Russian movie, or they're Russian characters or Italian characters. It's always British. If it's like a period movie, it always drives me crazy. I'm like, why do they have a British accent?
Or you're just Kevin Costner and you just don't do an accent at all.
I almost rather you don't, if you're gonna like botch it.
Like,
and maybe that's what they did, is like they tested it and they're like, Meg Ryan can't pull off Russian, so just do Meg Ryan.
So that's what I'm thinking.
So we don't want another Taye Diggs and How Stella Got Her Back.
No, please. Dear God, no.
That Jamaican accent was god awful. Jesus. And one last thing, Bernadette Peters, who's the voice of Sophie, reportedly wasn't thrilled, and I say reportedly, allegedly, wasn't thrilled about how her character looked in the cartoon. The legendary actress said that she was disappointed Sophie didn't look more like her own slim figure. And you know what? I do remember as a kid thinking that I loved Sophie as a really good representation of just a full-figured woman, and she was sassy, and she was twirling it and having a good time. And I got a side eye my Queen Bernadette Peters.
I agree. I was disappointed to read that. I mean, it was allegedly. However, yeah, representation matters. And I think Sophie was a really fun character. And I don't think I think her size meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the fact that like this icon Bernadette Peters was the voice of her too.
Yeah.
So if she came out and said something like that's kind of disappointing.
Especially since these characters are based off of real people. What did we think was going to happen, Bernadette?
Yeah.
Anastasia didn't look like Meg. So what are we really saying here? Your fat phobic comment here. All right, Jackie, let's start it off.
I almost started singing. Sorry.
It's gonna be a long ride.
It is. Okay, so it is 1916. We are in the palace of the Romanovs. Nicholas is the Tsar of Imperial Russia, and they're having an imperial party like you do. Grandmama is getting ready to go back to Paris. Anastasia is upset because they are very close. So Grandmama gives Anastasia this little music box and then a necklace that is the key to wind it up and open it up and play it. And the back of the necklace says "Together in Paris." And yes, Danielle.
I want to say that this scene made me feel all warm inside because my grandmama, my Nana, when she lived in New York, when she would come to visit in Florida, I would be an absolute mess when she had to fly back. Like, too grown to be acting the way that I was. Actually, one of our high school classmates saw me at the airport on the floor crying like a little bitch because Nana was leaving. And he was like, "Danielle?" And I was like, "Hello?" So my grandma, sick of seeing me on the floor like a crazy person, bought me a locket so that when she would leave, I would have something of hers that I wouldn't be sad. So when I saw the music box this time around, rewatching, it made me feel like, oh, Anastasia, I feel you. I love my grandmama too.
But yeah, I was watching it with my daughter, and she looked over at. She always watches me if there's since she was little. She always watches me to see if I'm gonna cry or something. And as soon as because I'm all emotional about my grandma, and so she was watching me, and she goes, "Are you gonna cry?" She always asks, "Are you gonna cry?" And I go, "Yeah, I am." So I was cried during watching it because anything with a grandma, I'm a mess now.
Oh, yeah.
So it's special.
So they're having this wonderful party. I'm assuming probably to see Grandmama off because she's going to Paris. And Rasputin is a party pooper and ruins things. He makes a deal with the devil, ? He makes a deal with someone.
Okay. So rewatching this, I'm like, all right, instead of showing us how he really killed, like, unalived all these people, it was interesting how their alternative was to explain that Rasputin sold his soul, like Jackie said, we don't know to who, in order to be able to have the power to kill the Romanovs. Not really explaining exactly what his beef was with them 100%, but I was like, this is fucking dark. The things that they had us watching, and when they show the representation of him selling his soul, all the skin off of his bones go mixing up with something and then come. And I was like, this is some dark shit.
So I did a little bit of researching, and it said that surface level, they're like, yeah, let's make Anastasia great. And then they were researching and they're like, well, we can't make Anastasia, like, shit went down and it wasn't great. And so they decided to kind of take the Anastasia story and make it a fairy tale where there were elements and like they used the names and like the family members and stuff, but it wasn't true to what actually happened with the massacre of the Romanov family. And so they did a very extensive marketing campaign in Russia to ensure that people knew that this was a fairy tale inspired by Anastasia. It was not a retelling of the Romanov family and what happened. And so from what I read, who knows the biases that come from it. From what I read, it was pretty well received in Russia as like a fairy tale folklore version of the actual events.
And also, I think they also took inspiration of the Anastasia musical that came out, I think 1956, which obsessed. My mom and I love musicals. So I think that's a little bit how they were able to frame some of the storylines, because I don't think that movie gets into the goriness of it either. So
yeah. And just to put some perspective on it, and I mean, I'm giggling, but it's not funny. The way Rasputin dies in real life, Rasputin suffered a number of fatal blows. So he was beaten, poisoned with cyanide, shot, stabbed, and thrown in an icy river.
So he's literally a horror character, because when you have a killer, that's how you have to kill them.
He was Michael Myers for sure. He wanted to make sure he stayed dead. And that was after, obviously, the horrible massacre of the whole family, which was equally as brutal.
Yeah.
So they did. It was dark. There were skeletons up parts, little dragon demons that he sent out to
it was a lot.
Yeah, it was the most.
And I just okay, so what's his name? Bartok?
Bartok?
Yeah. Was he talking before this mystical situation or after? Because I was like, what? No one's questioning that he can talk?
I have no clue.
I know that he just wanted a comic relief. So maybe he was kind of somewhat of an afterthought, like, oh, somebody needs a sidekick, and right. I kind of, I guess Bat is kind of not evil, but dark. But it's funny that he made him albino and like, white, just cute. But yeah, I always think that now as an adult, but as a kid, I wasn't thinking, why doesn't the dog talk and the bat talk?
Right.
He was funny, so I didn't care.
It was very. It was like I what is it? Iago. What's the parrot? Iago from Atlanta. Aladdin. ATL, shoddy.
So there is a straight-to-video sequel, which is actually a prequel called Bartok the Magnificent.
Yes.
So it explains how Bartok becomes hooked up with
I don't think I've even seen that. I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
Yeah.
Hank Azaria, Andrea Martin, who we know from Aunt Vula from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and Kelsey Grammer, they all made voice appearances in that movie, except that Andrea and Kelsey played different roles in this movie because they were voice actors in this movie as well. They had different and bigger roles in the prequel.
Did you see that J.K. Simmons is a singing voice in this movie?
Yeah.
As well as Billy Porter.
Yes.
I love that.
I do too.
See, I don't know if you guys know. Have you guys ever seen Reno 911?
Yes.
The officer Carlos?
Yes.
He's a voice in here too. He's a big time voice actor in like almost every cartoon, but I seen that he was one of the background singers and like voices for this, and I thought that was cool too.
I love that.
I love that show.
There's so many people, like so many actors that when they become famous were like, oh, it was overnight, success, but like Billy Porter's been at this forever, so
yeah,
it's just we didn't realize at the time.
So yeah, Rasputin sells his soul to someone, and so he gets this vial, which Bartok later calls a reliquary. I don't even know if I said that right. So it's like this vial with this green and apparently Rasputin skin in it, and it sends out little dragon demons to in like green mist to kill everyone. And so they're trying to escape the palace. Anastasia's running, grandmama's yelling. It's very frantic. And then this little boy pops up and he's like, go through here. And it's like a hidden panel in the wall so that they can escape.
But Anastasia, she drops her music box.
Yes.
She does have her key. That was why she was running back while the rest of the family.
Correct.
But it probably saved her doing that, I guess, because we all know the rest of the family was unalived.
Yes.
By spirits.
Yes. Spirits. Then we see Rasputin. He's thrown over a bridge, right? Do people do it to him, or does he just...
Rasputin? No, he falls through ice.
He was chasing the grandma and Anastasia, and then he fell through the ice.
That's right. And then we see grandmama and Anastasia catching the train. Grandmama gets on, but Anastasia is not fast enough, and so she gets left behind. And now there's a rumor in St. Petersburg 10 years later. And the rumor is Anastasia might still be alive. Grandmama is still looking for her. And so this is when we are introduced to Dimitri and Vlad. And they are two con artists that are trying to find a girl that looks enough like Anastasia that they can kind of prep her, kill and drill her, and get her to Paris to be presented to Grandmama, because Grandmama has a huge reward for finding her actual granddaughter, Anastasia.
And they literally hold an audition for this.
Yes. Hold an audition. Was it in the palace where the massacre happened? Or did they just end up there?
No, I think they were hanging out there, but I think they must have had it somewhere else.
In the theater?
Yeah, or somewhere, because when Anastasia said she was looking for papers because she leaves whatever boarding house or wherever she's at. She's supposed to go for another job. She takes the road less taken. She finds the dog. And when she goes to realize that she wants to travel, she wants to go to Paris because of the key saying the back of her necklace telling her, what does it say about Paris?
Hold, please. Together in Paris.
So she knows Paris is where she's going to go. So she meets some lady and she's like, hey, I need papers to travel. And that's when she's like, oh, find Dimitri. She does say that Dimitri like hangs out, lives at the palace. But when she they pass each other by, he was holding the auditions, but it seemed like some other place on that street. And when they were leaving, that's when they miss each other. So I don't think they were holding the auditions at the palace, because I feel like they weren't supposed to be at the palace.
Yeah. And we find out Dimitri has the music box, and that's going to be his kind of in with Grandmama, is be like, look, I have this thing.
Right.
And why do they start chasing Anastasia? Why is she running away from them? Just
Wait,
because
are we going to just pass over the amazingness that the song Journey to the Past is? It's literally like, I'm just saying that song, every time I hear that song, I get all emotional inside and I feel the need to sing. I was singing it all day, and I just have to say, I love that song.
How does that one go?
I don't think you guys want me.
A journey to the past. Heart, don't fail me now. Courage, don't desert me.
Yeah, love it.
It sounds.
I also read, which I felt was really cool, because I don't know if you guys know, a lot of time in random movies, Carrie Fisher's gone uncredited for a lot of like movie ideas, script writing, all that. And she is uncredited in this, but she was part of that Journey to the Past sequence.
She definitely, she was a ghostwriter a lot, and they almost called her like a movie whisperer. Like when stuff wasn't working with scripts and whatever it was, sometimes they would have to call her and say, look, like, figure this out. And she would piece it together. She really didn't get enough credit for that aspect of her genius, essentially, you know. I
so
commend
brilliant.
that. Yeah.
If you grew up on Disney shows, music, websites, and DComs, the Time Machine is ready for you to take a journey back to those golden days.
Join us as we talk the golden age of Disney Channel, the stars it introduced, and more. If it aired at 8/7 Central, it's fair game, baby.
So Anastasia is running away from Dimitri. I think he sees her and kind of thinks like she looks like Anastasia.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Did she forget just from like hitting her head so hard when she fell off the train, or was this like a memory loss due to trauma type of thing?
I feel like a mix. It might have been like she might have hit her head, but also trauma, because if you lose your whole family, and I think because the way that it kind of starts to just come back naturally being in certain environments, I would say it's a mixture.
Yeah.
As a kid though, that confused me. Like I remember thinking that as a kid, like, what happened? Like that was lost on me as a child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there was no explicit scene where like she fell down and bumped her head to be like, oh, that's why she has no memories or anything.
Yeah.
Or like a
It's just
doctor
like-
scene. Like we don't even know what happens. Like who collects her, and like how did the grandma like not be able to come back? You know, they don't explain as
Why did the grandma jump off the train? That's what my grandma would have been flying off the train. Like, you know what I mean? But again, and I remember thinking that his movies I remember my first anxiety attack was probably during American Tail. So that his movies kind of have that theme of children or you getting split up from your family. And that as a kid really like was a fear of mine. Yeah. And so I remember watching American Tail and crying. And so I remember with this, like, again, sitting there thinking, what? The grandma just stayed there? Like, what? She's just an orphan now? What? You know, that I think as a kid, maybe they should have done a little bit more explaining if they were making a kid movie.
Yeah. Because it felt like
it was too like a lot.
Watching it now, I'm like, as an adult, I would probably put the kid on first and then I jump on.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. I was watching it with Kiana and I'm telling my daughter, like, oh my gosh, no, this is what would happen. Like, I was getting like and again, I know it's just a movie and that's what my daughter kept saying. It's just a movie, but it's like, I have a hard time with that because I know as a kid that bothered me too. But then, you know, we just forget it with old music and songs, but just saying, it's traumatic.
So, Dimitri sees Anastasia, thinks she kind of looks like, or Anya,
yeah,
is her name now, and thinks she looks like Anastasia. So he's like, "Hey, you!" And then she gets scared because two men are chasing her now, and she ends up running into the palace. And as she's seeing like things from the palace, Once Upon a December kind of starts coming back to her, and she starts seeing like the people waltzing, things like that.
Yeah, because she was in the palace, but she runs into the ballroom where they had the big party before, you know, all things went bad, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and then he like catches up with her, and she's standing in front of a portrait of Anastasia as a child, and he's like, wait a minute, she really does look like Anastasia. Let's try and get her.
He just literally says cha-ching in his eyes.
Exactly. And so they do like this con man, like, hey, we have 3 tickets, because she mentions Paris, and they're like, oh, we're going to Paris. We have 3 tickets, but really the third ticket's for Anastasia. And then she starts kind of playing into it like, well, I don't remember who I am. Who's to say I'm not Anastasia? Like, if I can just have that third ticket. So she's like a willing participant, which later on, like, she gets mad at Dimitri for lying to her the entire time. And I'm like, girl, you literally were like, well, who's to say I'm not Anastasia? Like, you were a willing participant. He did not lie to you in any. The only thing he admitted was like the reward he would get. But you wanted to get to Paris, and they had a free ticket. Like,
yeah, it was like they needed a conflict or something. It was kind of put in there.
Right.
It didn't make sense. But again, as a kid, I didn't catch it. But as an adult, I would be like, hey,
Yeah.
girlfriend.
It would. I think it would have been much better if they said like, "Hey, you can have this ride, but we need you to do a few things," but not
exactly.
like then it could be like you conned me. But you're right. She was fully on board with this con situation.
Yeah,
She
when
was
it
conning
benefited
them.
her,
Yes,
she was fully on board.
but that
shady.
But to me, I was like, yo, the moment Anastasia left wherever her boarding house or orphanage, things were looking up. She got a cute ass dog, fine ass Dimitri, a shining, glistening tiara, money on top of money on top of money, getting
her beautiful eyebrows,
her eyebrows, grandmama, like
it was on point.
Yeah.
So as Dimitri and Anastasia and Vladimir are kind of talking, Bartok's just chilling up like in the rafters with the reliquary, and he's like, oh, that does kind of look like Anastasia, and then it's like the reliquary starts like glowing, and he's like, wait a minute, I think that actually is, because this thing has been dormant since Rasputin disappeared pretty much. And so then it like flies but grabs him and pulls him through the earth to purgatory where Rasputin's chilling.
I have questions. So
I'm pretty sure I don't have answers.
So if the green goo stuff knows that there's a Romanov mixing it up, she's always been mixing it up. Why wasn't it floating to where she was in the orphanage this whole time? Like, why does it fire? So it had to be by
in the vicinity.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like, think of Harry Potter with his
scar.
His scar. As he's getting closer. Yeah. That's how again, that's how I just took it, was like, oh,
It was a proximity thing, I think.
Yeah.
So, and then we find out he is in limbo. He is slowly deteriorating. Like as he's talking to Bartok, his eyeball pops out, his mouth falls off. At one point, his head goes into his own rib cage where there's some juice floating around.
It's really gnarly. It
is.
And I think the worst thing was him putting his hand back and like, and at one point the green gooey bottle, I don't know what it's called, but he goes to catch it and his arm, like you could see like his ligaments and everything kind of stretch out. I was like, yo, we didn't need to be this meticulous, did we?
His went hard. Evil is pretty, like, in all his movies, I think they're pretty kind of intense and scary. Like we were watching some scary stuff as kids.
Yeah. I mean, all dogs go to heaven.
No wonder everything's.
Yeah, it was just about dogs dying the whole time.
No wonder we all have mental health problems. Like, for real, we were watching really dark, sad, traumatic stuff as children.
Littlefoot's mom died at the beginning of Land Before Time, and he had to get to the tree stars. It was
all of
a hot mess.
Again, Rockadoodle. Love Rockadoodle. I'm sorry. Have you guys seen that one?
I have not.
I have. I barely remember it, but I have seen it.
Rockadoo today. Oh my god, you guys have to watch it. I'm serious. Like, it's so cheesy. I still quote that movie to this day. Ugh, please watch it. It's so silly.
And then get In the Dark of the Night, which is one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack.
Oh, it's so scary. Really?
How does that one go?
I got you, boo. In the dark of the night, terror will find her. In the dark of the night, something. Soon she will feel that her nightmares are real. In the dark of the night, she'll be mine.
Oh, really good.
Oh, it's so good. I love. And you know what? One of my favorite songs from The Lion King is the
Scars.
Scars. Yeah.
That song is bomb.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just because of he's just really scary, this Rasputin, like in general. It kind of, I don't think I knew as a kid it was Doc from Back to the Future. I think that would have upset me.
True.
And as an adult, I only, when I was watching it, it clicked that it was him. I heard it on my own, but he's just really scary. So I didn't enjoy his song. Anytime he's on the screen, I'm very uncomfortable. His nails, everything.
I think almost every incarnation of someone playing Rasputin I've seen, that whole character that just creeps me out. Just saying.
I think of Christopher Lloyd. I don't know what I when I was young, I did watch all the Back to the Futures. So it's not that 80s blind spot that I have. However, whenever I think of Christopher Lloyd, I think of in like a horror or like a villain role.
Yeah.
It's always
Festive?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
And he's so scary in that.
Yes.
He's so scary. And I try to block that out, that's him. But yeah, that one's super terrifying too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's so scary. Why does he do that to us?
So now Rasputin sends out his green dragon minions to sabotage Anastasia and hopefully kill her. And they are on a train. Anastasia, Dimitri, and Vlad are on a train heading to Paris. And she's kind of slumped over in her chair and she's like, blah, blah, blah. And Dimitri's like, that's not how a Grand Duchess would sit, blah, blah, blah. And she's like dishing it back. And she's like, how do you know? Maybe I am a Grand Duchess and this is the way I'm sitting. So whatever type thing. And like Vlad is secretly like keeping tally marks of like who's winning in like this banter between Dimitri and Anya, but it's all very like almost like flirty at times. Like they're definitely into one another. And after Anya like leaves the carriage or the little room, Vlad kind of calls Dimitri on and he's like, do you have an attraction? And Dimitri is just like, no, why would attraction? What are you talking about? And so it kind of like you protest too much. I fucked that up. And so Vlad goes out into the walkway and he sees, because he's forged all their papers. They didn't really have tickets or anything. And he sees like it's a different color ink than what he had done because they keep switching it up. So he's like, Dimitri, we got an issue. So they're like packing stuff up, trying to get to the luggage car to hide out while everyone's tickets are being checked. And that's when Anya kind of catches on like, oh, we didn't have tickets, did we? And then that's when the little demon-y things arrive, detach them from the rest of the train. So it's just the locomotive and the baggage car. And I rewound it, and maybe I didn't rewind far enough. Did they do something to the coal in the locomotive to make it go faster? Did they show that? Did I miss something?
I don't
That's
know.
a part that's a little detail that I wouldn't remember.
I know.
But good on you for remembering that, sister, because I would not remember that.
I don't recall. I just know that at first they're detached and they're like, okay, we don't have to panic, it'll slow down. But then I know something happened that made it not slow down.
Exactly. It was speeding up.
Yeah.
And then the little demons took out the bridge they were approaching. And so Dimitri's like asking for tools, trying to detach the luggage car from the locomotive. And finally, Anastasia's like, how about this? And just hands him a stick of lit dynamite. And he's like, I guess that'll do. So they're able to detach themselves from the runaway train and hop off, but now they need another mode of transportation to get the rest of the way to Paris. And
they get on a boat.
Yes.
And while they're on the boat, they're giving Anastasia princess lessons, essentially. She has to learn how to do the waltz, of course, because she's a badass bitch. She wants to lead.
Yes.
What do you mean that Dimitri has the lead? So they have some moments there because
And he gave her a dress. And so
Right.
it was like as soon as she puts on that nice new dress, he's like, and like lets her hair down. He's like, oh, hi, Anya.
right. He's all of a sudden he's looking at her in a different way.
It's that
Mhm.
she's all that effect. She's pulled her hair down and now she looks different.
Brand
to
new
him.
person all of a
Yeah.
sudden. So they have some banter there, but then they get ready for bed and everything like that. And then here we go again with Rasputin's
Mhm.
little minions, but now they're affecting her sleep.
Mhm.
And so she's dreaming of her family, but she's now sleepwalking as well. The dog knows what's up, but can't wake up a bitch. And she is now about to jump off the boat, not realizing. And Dimitri, the dog, wakes up Dimitri fast enough so that he can go get her. But when that water, because they're on rough waters on the boat,
Yeah.
when that huge wave comes and hits them, I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no way that these two are still alive, not like overboard at this point.
Yeah.
So when she wakes up, when he finally saves her from jumping, she's like, oh, they're the Romanov curse.
Mhm.
And I want to know why nobody was really digging into that a little bit more that she said that.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like
a
let's
little
look again.
side eye at least. Like,
Right.
You say what now?
Right. So pretty much they go back to bed, and then we find out later that she has to prove herself before that she can meet Grandmama, the I guess she's the queen.
Cousin. Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Grandmama.
Grandmama I thought she was a queen, but they call her something else, huh?
Probably because
Dowager.
At the time she was no longer the queen. Her son's wife was. So
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
That makes sense. Dowager Empress Marie.
Gotcha.
And and so after Dimitri saves Anastasia, Rasputin's pissed because now like that's twice he's tried to take care of her and was thwarted. So he's like, I'm gonna have to go topside. And so now we know Rasputin's making his way up out of purgatory to finish the job.
Purgatory. He in hell. 100%.
No, they actually say
that he's in purgatory.
That he is in. Hold on, I took a note of it.
In limbo, like the Casper thing, because he's got unfinished business.
Yeah, he's in limbo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I guess his skin's still in the thing because Anastasia's not dead yet.
Right.
So he can't be at rest.
Not that he deserves any.
No.
So yes, Grandmama has I don't know what's called Sophie, a companion.
Sophie's her sister, I thought. No? Did I make that up?
I thought it was
a cousin.
Okay.
She's related to her.
Okay, so Sophie's kind of been handling the interview portion of the Anastasia finding contest. There's a reward.
Yeah.
So we see like the last or a random girl come out and Grandmama's like, I am done. Like this is too much for my old heart. And I love how dramatic she is. She's like, oh, what did she say? I wrote it down. Oh, I wish to live out the remainder of my lonely life in peace.
That sounds like a Myrtle line 100%.
Yes. So Dimitri and Vlad finally show up with Anya. This is what I don't get. Sophie does like a 2-hour interview. And then they're like, okay, where's the Dowager Empress? And they're like, she's like, oh yeah. So you can't see her. She doesn't want to see anyone else. She's done looking for her granddaughter. Like, why bother going through all the hoops? And during the interview, because she does tell Grandmama, next time I'm going to ask really hard questions that only Anastasia would know. And so she asked, how did you get out of the palace? And Anastasia obviously was not prepped for that, but it triggers a memory. And she was like, there was a boy and a door in the wall. And then she's like, that's silly. Like, what am I talking about? But that's the correct answer. And that's when Dimitri realizes holy shit, this is the real Anastasia because I'm the fucking boy that showed her the hole in the wall.
Right.
So
I just want to, for me, did you guys feel this way? Why there wasn't like a moment where Anastasia's like, oh my God, guys, I think my memory's coming back because pieces.
Yeah.
She doesn't acknowledge it. She just like
goes with it.
They don't seem nervous when this question comes up, like, oh man, how are we going to coach her? You know, like the way her memory just was coming in and out, but like she doesn't acknowledge at all, like, oh my God, pieces are coming back.
And just like how they didn't acknowledge it, like how she lost it. I think that whole part of the plot was kind of, again, I remember being confused then as I am today, having the same questions in terms of her memory. More times there's usually a set, this happened, okay, I don't remember, okay, now I do. But they kind of just mushed it together for her, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the dudes are like, is there any way, like, and Dimitri's real hardcore now because he knows this is the actual Anastasia. And he's like, we need to get her to meet the Empress. And so Sophie's like, we love the Russian ballet. It's tonight. We go every time it's in town. And so they're like, okay, to the ballet. And so Sophie's like, well, let's go shopping. And then that's when we get Perry holds the key to my heart.
I love your performance. It's perfect.
And during this scene, we see a ton of historical figures. What I was very excited to see Josephine Baker, Maurice Chevalier, hopefully I said that right, Isadora Duncan, Augusta Rodin. Rodin? Is it Rodin? The artist? I don't know. Okay, Sigmund Freud. They all show up in the Paris Holds the Key montage. The only one that I could recognize was Josephine Baker and Sigmund Freud.
So after that, Anastasia's all dolled up. They're going to the ballet,
which, by the way, Cinderella is playing. And I was like, this definitely is like, fuck you, Disney. I'm just saying.
And she's sitting there and she's so nervous. Or actually, sorry, let me back up. Vlad and Dimitri have a conversation and Dimitri's like, she is the real Anastasia. I was that boy. Like, that's how I have this music box. And Vlad's like, you need to tell her. And Dimitri essentially is like, royalty doesn't marry kitchen boys. And so he's willing to not tell her who she really is because he wants a shot with her.
Oh, that's definitely some fuckboy shit.
Do you guys think don't you think him and her look a lot like Thumbelina and whoever the guy is in Thumbelina of his movie?
Yes. We have some
I know it's his movie, but like the animation, like I remember even as a kid thinking that, like, hey, they look so much alike that other cartoon.
They have, what did they say? Hold on. We have some notes about that house, some of the characters from some of his other movies. Oh, okay. Dimitri bears a startling resemblance to a few other animated characters. Both the dad in A Troll in Central Park and Prince Cornelius in Thumbelina look a hell of a lot like Anastasia's Dimitri. Coincidentally, Don Bluth directed all three. So not a surprise there.
I might be just like Disney, how they would reuse some like, you know, Baloo looks like Little John and Robin Hood and stuff. But I do think that Anya and Dimitri are very attractive cartoons. And like I said, Anya's eyebrows are amazing. And I can't stop thinking about it and looking at them the entire time.
They are flawless and thick and beautiful.
Do you have a favorite dress of hers? Or favorite look?
Oh,
you know, we didn't get many cartoons where the main character would change clothes. That was a very big pull for me in this one, because in all the Disney princesses, they weren't changing too often. I mean, they did sometimes, but she had a lot of costume outfit changes, and I really appreciated that.
It's the yellow dress for me.
It's the blue dress for me.
Which blue dress on the boat?
No.
When they go shopping?
No, or is it? I'm sorry, I might be colorblind. The one she wears when she meets her grandma.
That's
Isn't it deep
my
blue?
favorite. Yeah, it's a navy blue.
Like a
Yeah.
midnight blue.
Mhm.
It reminds me of like one of my prom dresses. So I love that, and it's got the shimmers.
Mhm.
It's
That's my favorite. I also love her beginning outfit.
Oh yeah, with her hair. I loved
Yeah,
her.
little
I remember
bun.
thinking like, because I had long hair as younger, and I thought if I can cut my hair short like Anastasia and look cute with a half up, half down. I just really liked her look. She is cute.
The iconic yellow dress that she wears has roots in reality. They say the gown and crown she wears at the end of the movie is based on the ensemble she worn by the in real life princess.
Interesting. So after the ballet is over, they very loudly talk to Sophie, like, we would like to present Anastasia to the Empress. And like Grandmama is like, no, I told you. No. And Sophie's like, it's a no. Sorry, guys. And Dimitri busts in anyway. And he's like, you need to see her because she is Anastasia.
She kicks him out. Like, she has security kick him out. And this is when Anastasia starts getting on her high horse about like, oh, you were lying and you were going to get paid and blah, blah, blah. So she storms out. And then when he can't get back in. So when Grandmama leaves, he hijacks her car, takes her back to the house that they're staying at and say, look, you have to meet her. And that's when
what kind of car is Grandmama's car?
Girl, bye. Now I don't even know. Like, to me, it looked like a red box. That's all I saw.
I only know what it is because when you see her sitting inside the car, there's a double R on the door. And I'm like,
so it's a Rolls Royce?
Yes, it is a Rolls
Oh.
Royce.
Well, she's got
Grandmama.
money. Grandmama got money.
Also, rest in peace, Angela Lansbury.
I
Wasn't that sad too to watch that and then realize, oh,
yeah,
she just passed. And her accent was on point. She did a perfect.
People just don't realize how iconic that woman is. Like, I think our generation only sees a certain part of her just resume, but like the amount of things that she was in prior to any of this stuff is.
Yeah.
Her first movie is called Gaslight, and it is fantastic.
Oh, that's her movie. Oh, I didn't know that was.
She plays, she's not the lead actress in it. She plays the maid, but I mean, she looks exactly the same. I think she was like 19 when she was in it. And it's just, that movie top to bottom is fantastic, but she is really good in it too.
My favorite of hers is Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yes.
I love that movie. Not many of my friends, like that was one I watched alone because nobody ever wanted to watch it with me. Even my daughter today says it's boring and it makes me so upset, but I really love that movie.
So Grandmama finally comes, meets Anastasia. They start talking. And
Anastasia has a smell memory that's
peppermint.
triggered. So Grandmama walks in and she's kind of like, okay, I came, I saw, whatever. And then Anastasia's like, peppermint, I spilt a bottle on the floor. And after you left, I would just lay and smell because it smelled like you. And so then Grandmama's like, well, come sit next to me. And Anastasia's fiddling with her necklace. And Grandmama's like, what do you have there? And she shows her the necklace. And Grandmama takes out the music box. And Anastasia's like,
she starts humming it before she even opens, I think, the box. So
yes.
Grandmama's like, that's my girl.
They do a little duet of Once Upon a December. And so it kind of skips ahead. We do see Rasputin's getting ready to go to the surface the whole time because he's still in his little purgatory dungeon. And he's like, there's now a newspaper article that says like Anastasia's been found and now they're having a ball in her honor. And so we see the night of the ball, Grandmama and Anastasia are kind of reminiscing and really excited. Anastasia gets her crown.
Love that crown.
And then, and Grandmama talks to Dimitri, and she's like, I guess you were right.
When they start fighting with Rasputin.
I also like how Bartok always says, I'm worried about your blood pressure, sir.
Like, you need to calm down, sir.
I like how he's just like, after things, when Rasputin is just not stopping and Bartok's like, yeah, you're not winning this. I'm out.
Why don't you get over it, sir, and just forget about her? Like,
So after Grandmama realizes it's actually Anastasia, she goes to pay Dimitri and he refuses the money and he's just packing up and leaving. And he kind of catches Anastasia on the stairs and she's like, I hope you enjoy your money. Or did you get your reward? And he's like, I got what I came for. He doesn't really answer the question. And so he leaves. And then the night of the ball, you see him heading back to St. Petersburg. He's at the train station. Now it's the ball.
And Grandmama recognizes that Anastasia's not happy, or she looks, there's some sadness, and she's looking for her boy, Dimitri. And that's when the grandma's like, he's not out there. And she's like, you don't have to do this. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be Grandmama, even though you don't want to be a princess no more. Just say it.
And Anastasia makes some like passing comment like, oh, I'm sure he's on his way with all of his money that he got for finding me, essentially. And Grandmama's like, he didn't take the money. And Anastasia's like, oh,
I
shit.
love him.
And then Puga starts barking. That's the dog's name. Puga starts barking. And so Anastasia follows him out. And it's kind of like a garden area that looks like it might be a maze type situation, hedge maze. And Rasputin's like whisper talking in the maze. And it starts becoming very brambly. And it's kind of guiding her out to a bridge. And that's where Rasputin appears. And he's like, I'm going to finish you off. Das Vidanya. And like destroys part of the bridge that Anastasia's standing on. And so she's hanging on for dear life. She hangs on for a very, very long time because then Dimitri independently realizes he can't leave without his boo. So he comes back and then Rasputin makes the Pegasus statue alive. And so Dimitri's fighting a statue and it's all very dramatic. But essentially, you think Anastasia has fallen into the water. Dimitri's still trying to get to her, but really she had scrambled up and gotten behind Rasputin. His little reliquary skitters towards her, and she's like, this is for Dimitri. This is for my family. And this is for you, Rasputin. Das Vidanya.
I do want to give props to the fact that prior to this, most of our like princesses were damsels in distress. I was very excited that she was like saving herself, saving her boy, and killing her villain on her own. But that scene, I was like, shouldn't have been, this is for my family first.
Yes, I agree.
This is for me and my trauma. Maybe Dimitri could be on this list, but Dimitri's fucking fine. What are you talking about? This is Dimitri. And thirdly, and this is for you. What do you mean for you? And it should have been like, and you're never coming back to hurt my family. Slam. Something like,
a better line there. Yeah.
It didn't sit right with me. I wasn't feeling completely vindicated in that moment. But other than that, 7 out of 10.
But she stomps on the reliquary, smashes it, morphs through a lot of changes. It's almost like the scene in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade where it's like it like his skin ? Melts and then like his skeleton's there and then that starts disintegrating into ash and it's very dramatic. But Rasputin's gone. Bartok is kind of like, well, there goes my only friend.
Dimitri's knocked the fuck out. She's trying to wake him up. She doesn't know what a pulse is, I guess. So she starts crying because she thinks he's dead. But then he wakes up And of course, she accidentally hits him in the face. Like, come on, girl, get a handle on your limbs, please. And then next thing we know, like they hug or whatever. But next thing we know, Grandmama gets a letter and they find out that they went and eloped. And she's like, peace out. I'll see you in Paris. We'll be together again soon. And then they're dancing on some boat or whatever. And they're still ratty old clothes. I said, girl, you got money now. What's happening?
Maybe she packed a bag. When they get where they're going, they'll suit up real nice. And Sophie does say it's a perfect ending, and Grandmama's like, no, it's a perfect beginning.
Oh,
and,
Grandmama.
And then the very end is Bartok is just standing on a building, and a lady bat shows up and is like,
and starts making out with him. Like, it went from 0 to 60. I'm like, who is this?
And that is Anastasia.
I'm just saying, everybody's getting laid but me, apparently. Even Bartok.
Anything?
All right. If you haven't gone to listen to our trailer for this episode, so you can get to know what Samantha's been up to since she joined us with the Princess Diaries, please go check that out. Before we get into our ratings, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you again, Samantha?
You can find me on my Instagram at Lovefool.99, and I'm also on TikTok, not as on there as much, but Lovefool.99. But yeah, hope to see you guys on the gram.
And as you can always check us out at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Samantha, I'll start with you with your rating.
I love it. I still love it. Gotta love it, buy it, have it, keep it, own it. It's still a favorite for me. The music, like I said, was making me all emotional. I got nostalgic for it all over again. Watching it with my kids. It's golden for me.
I'm gonna leave it at 5-day rental. I still liked it a lot. Jackie?
As evident by me still knowing all the words to all the songs, this movie is a bop. Like,
yes.
Made me want to throw on the soundtrack while I'm driving next time. It was a definite would buy again for me. And I do own it. So there we go. But if you have any opinions on Anastasia, or just want to give us feedback in general, suggest some future movies, have Blockbuster or video store stories, hit us up at our quick drop 909-601 and MLF 909-601-6653. You can twat us at the Twitters or leave a voicemail on our Anchor FM account that can be used for our international listeners, and you can be featured on a future episode.
And we are taking a little mini break. We got to chow down on some turkey like everyone else, so we won't have a new episode for the week of Thanksgiving, but there's plenty of other episodes you guys can go back to and be thankful for our wonderful commentary. Just we have a lot to be thankful for.
An episode during Thanksgiving, just 2 No More Late Fees. It's what I'm thankful for.
It's definitely family time, aside of cursing.
Expletives.
Yeah. But our next episode will be Friday after next. Not literally, but the movie Friday After Next with Ice Cube. So make sure you stay tuned. Again, if you hit subscribe, it'll tell you so you don't have to worry. Yeah.
See ya after Turkey Day. And as always, be kind and rewind.